I came across this quote and it kind of hit me at my heart. So let me just say, or repeat the quote. Before you do anything, you need to know if it's right or wrong. The Trump administration has done a lot of stuff. And in my opinion, they do know right from wrong. And they know that a lot of things that they have done are wrong. Let's talk about the quote-unquote tax cut that they ran through. And the liar-in-chief had the nerve to come out before the American people and tell us that this was going to be a tax cut that was going to benefit the middle class, and that he and the other well-to-do people in this country were not going to benefit. Well, they did it, and they knew that it was wrong, because the analysis, even by their own people, have indicated that the tax cut is going to benefit and has benefited people of means, well-to-do people, rich corporations. So that right there told us that they had no problem doing something that they knew was wrong and lying to our faces. But more importantly, perhaps, depending on your socioeconomic level, when Donald Trump berated Christian Nielsen, his Homeland Security Secretary, for an increase over last year of our southern border crossings. He didn't really consider the numbers from this year versus last year. Because last year, when he inherited the situation from Barack Obama, the crossings were at a 20-year low. Let me repeat that. The southern border crossings were at a 20-year low. So, because there was an uptick in the number of border crossings this year, which is still at historically low levels, he decided that he was going to go off on Ms. Nielsen about the increase in the number of border crossings. And folks, numbers can say anything that you want them to if you are sophisticated enough to be able to manipulate them. Anyway, Jefferson, Beauregard, KKK Sessions piped up that instead of following the Obama model, where it was basically catch and release, they would apply ankle monitors to all of the people who quote-unquote illegally crossed the border and let them go, with approximately 75% of them returning for their court dates. And I recognize that that's 25% that they had to chase down, but 75% is a pretty damn good number as far as returning to court. When he piped up that instead of attaching the ankle monitors to people, that they should just prosecute everybody, lock everybody up, Donald Trump's eyes lit up. And, well, you know the rest. But, folks, they knew that that was wrong. They knew that they were going to create a situation of massive numbers of people flowing through the judicial system with a backlog which today is approximately 25,000 cases that have to be reviewed and adjudicated. This, at a minimum, is 6 months worth of people having to go through the judicial system. Now, folks, you know it's wrong when a judge, when you appear before him or her, gives you approximately 3 minutes of his or her time and combines your initial appearance, your trial, and your sentencing. And that is exactly what is happening. That does not happen in federal court, folks. You know it's wrong when you have the right to an attorney, whether you are a citizen or not, and you get to speak to your attorney for approximately 2 minutes before you have to go through that initial appearance, trial, which there is none, and sentencing. You know that that's wrong. Folks, you know it's wrong when they separate children from their mothers and fathers. And I don't want to hear the bullshit about the people bringing them across, the majority of which are supposedly all coyotes. That's bullshit. Kids, and especially babies, are not crying for coyotes. They're crying for their mothers and fathers. So you know that that's wrong. Folks, you know that it's wrong when the United States government is transporting kids in the middle of the night to facilities that upon the transfer occurring, all lights are turned off so that a record cannot be made because of the lack of light. Folks, you know that it's wrong when the United States government moves kids out of Texas, Arizona, California by plane and tells the airline and the flight attendants that these kids are not the children of illegal entrants to our country, but that they are a soccer team. Folks, you know it's wrong when the airline discovers that they were lied to and officially asks the government not to use their airlines in the transport of these migrant children. And the government turns around and lies to their face anyway. Folks, you know that it's wrong when kids are transferred thousands of miles away and the state and local officials are not notified that migrant children are being moved into their states and localities, and that the government is refusing to give the states and localities information so that the health needs, both mental and physical, cannot be attended to. Folks, you know that it's wrong for the U.S. government to issue secret contracts to the prison industrial complex benefiters to build tented cities in the middle of nowhere and then transport kids into those tented facilities and only allow the kids to go outside of these tents for 1 or 2 hours a day in 110 to 120 degree heat in order to get physical exercise. Folks, you know that it's wrong when a president can lie and say that there's nothing that he can do, but then turn around and do something. I didn't say fix the issue, but do something in order to take the heat off of both himself and the Republican Party. Folks, you know it's wrong when a child is with its parent, specifically its mother, and it's being breastfed, and a Border Patrol person snatches the kid away from the mother. Folks, you know it's wrong when a child is separated from its parent and the parent is told that they are taking the kid to get a shower, and the parent doesn't see the kid again. Folks, you know it's wrong when children are transported and held in adoption facilities. And God forbid that these kids are already in foster care homes and the foster parents develop a bond for the child and legally adopt the child. Folks, you know that there are so many things that are wrong that we need to address. We need to stand up. Now, I had said a long time ago that these kids were being stolen, and the numbers, in my opinion, and the actions, in my opinion, basically justify that statement. To be honest with you, folks, the Hispanic population in this country is growing. And what is being done now to these kids from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras is criminal. It's child abuse. But even worse than that, excuse me, I believe that without the light being shined on this child abduction scheme by the United States government, a lot, if not all of these kids would more than likely be run through the white indoctrination program system, so that they would more than likely think or be trained to think like a white person, and more importantly, vote like a white person. The white power structure in America is afraid. They are afraid because they know that demographics are against them. They've already taken some steps in order to try to maintain power, i.e., if you are a person of Hispanic heritage, on your birth certificate, and I believe it was from the Nixon administration, that your skin color is officially white. Now, you could be an Egyptian born, a person of Egyptian heritage and dark, but your skin color on your birth certificate, if you're born here, is white. I had done a video where I had stated that the race war was starting, and I stand behind that video. I honestly believe that the situation that we are viewing at the present time is nothing more than an attempt by Jefferson, I am a KKK spokesman, supporter, Sessions, Donald, my dad was a Klan member, Trump, and a lot of the rest of his administration, including his chief of staff, they have a plan. And unless we can do something about the plan that they have to basically attempt to destroy people who have a legitimate reason to come across the border and into our country because of a problem that the U.S. created. And I'm talking about MS-13, because MS-13 was created back in the 80s out of Los Angeles. MS-13 was not created in Guatemala, Honduras, or El Salvador. MS-13 was created in Los Angeles, and the United States exported MS-13 into those countries, which had no idea what they were getting. So the gang members from MS-13 flourished, so that now all you hear is law and order. They got to build a wall in order to stop MS-13. Well, let me give you a tip, folks. There are approximately 8,000 to 10,000 MS-13 members currently residing in the United States, and the majority of them are U.S. citizens. So if you want to do something about MS-13, before you look at that border and the people crossing that border, which there are very few MS-13 people that they come across in those border crossings where they actually apprehend someone. You need to look at U.S. citizens who are in various locales across the country. You want to do something about MS-13? Instead of threatening to withhold aid to the various countries, you probably should be increasing the aid to those countries, and specifically designating that aid be used to track down and eradicate the MS-13 problems in those three countries. But as usual, ass backwards, Donald Trump is going the other way. Folks, there are so many things that we do in this country that are wrong. And to give the benefit of the doubt, if you don't know that something's wrong and you do something that's wrong, and you discover that something is wrong, you need to admit that something is wrong and do something about it. Now, let me close with this. A lot of Republicans are wrong. When I say a lot, I mean approximately 55 to 60% of Republicans are wrong. And I say that they are wrong because that is the approximate number of people that support, I should say people in the Republican Party that support what is happening on the border as far as the separation of children from their parents. In our hearts, we know that that's wrong. But in their blind support of a racist, misogynist, and in my opinion, Nazi lover, Donald Trump, they don't care that it's wrong. Sad state of affairs, folks. We need to do the right thing. And in my opinion, no matter the cost.